Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are in for deadlifts today, back day, and we've also thought that we'd run you through a little bit of an update as to where we are both at in our prospective off seasons. It's been a little bit of a while since I've done an update on myself, and I've progressed now up to pretty much like the maximum body weight that I've ever hit. I'm just sub 200 pounds, and the last off season before I did my 2021 contest prep, I hit around about 200 pounds. I think the 201 pound weigh-in that actually ended up as my maximum weight was slightly fueled by like pizza and a few like little off-pan bits that sort of concluded that off-season phase. But you know, this body weight for me is definitely, I think it's a double-edged sword in the fact that I feel amazing in the gym, and I can do stuff that I've kind of never done before. Maximum performance, like yesterday was a high incline press 50s for 8, which for me is, you know, an all-time personal best on that. I've got to do these things, and the other side of the sword is that outside of the gym, it's not as nice, you know, and even in the physical look as well, it's not necessarily something that I like to look at. It's, you know, certainly softer. The lines of my physique get kind of blurred by stored body fat, so it's still a look that, you know, for a lot of people, I think they'd probably be like okay or content with. And I'm aware of that. You know, I've definitely been softer in previous off seasons and coped with it. I think what I do at this point to really continue to progress is just focus on what happens in here, and then allow myself to appreciate that the way I have to feel outside of the gym is for a purpose of what goes on inside of the gym. You know, because that's the thing that's going to change my physique is what goes on inside of there. And then obviously if I can sleep and still eat, despite feeling lethargic and sluggish and all of that kind of thing, then you know, the job is good as done in terms of making improvements. So that's really where I'm at. I'm kind of, I must almit, and Loz knows this more than anyone, I'm a little bit of a crossroads because Berto's timeline. So I've consulted with Alberto Nunez for moving me into my next prep, and obviously like the initial goal when I consulted with Berto was to start in 2023 and compete again. And just as I've seen, you know, natural bodybuilding in itself, it's at a level now where it's seriously damn competitive, and it's not getting any easier. You know, not to say that I won in years that was, you know, a lack of competition or anything like that. I still think that was stiff competition I went up against, but it's certainly not going to get any easier for me to win that overall title that I really would like to win. I need to have a level of maturity and muscularity that's going to, you know, kind of close the door on that opportunity for me. I don't think that's going to take 1 year, you know, so I'm thinking more long term now, and probably moving my eyes and my targets more to at least 2024, if not maybe even further, depending on just how the next sort of 12 months go. I certainly think 2023 will be a bit too early. So as a result, he'd mapped out a mini cut, which was to start very soon. I think I might extend this surplus phase just a little longer, just because of how good of a run that I am on in the gym. And if I can keep that up and moving forwards, get actually past, you know, 200 pounds, past my previous maximum body weight, sort of seal that deal and maybe be even a little bit leaner than I was at 200 pounds last time, I'll then be confident doing a tidy up, knowing that I've really pushed the limit. Because I think as a natural athlete especially, you've really got to push that upper limit. You've got to really push the body weights that are not comfortable, and the people that do that, guaranteed they always come down with impressive physiques. And this is what I keep telling Loz, and she'll talk about her own situation in a minute, but the people that hide away and get like kind of ugly heavy, but then come down and retain as much of their strength as they can, they've built a lot of strength in many years off or many push-up phases, they always look unbelievable. Two really good examples of that. Lewis, who I trained quads with, guy's awesome, and it was his first time on stage. He did multiple massive push-ups where he was probably up against it with food on a daily basis, battling away, you know, pushing the limit. Another individual that's a good example is Loz's client Meg, who's dieting down at the moment. She's been hiding away, hammering herself in the gym, getting strong at the basics. You know, she squats, what, 120 kilos for almost 10 reps.
10 reps, yeah.
Same height as Loz, you know, and she's put away unbelievable numbers in the gym, stayed at a body composition in and around that's relatively good for performance, maybe not the best aesthetically to look at, but very good for performance. And now she's starting to come down, and she's only, like 5-6 weeks into the process and already looking unbelievable.
Yeah. But she spent 10 years, like almost 10 years doing muscle. That shit. So.
Yeah, so like natural bodybuilding in itself is a bit of delayed gratification, but it's also, we've got a few limited tools here. We've got what we can do in here, and then we've got food, and we've got like the things like sleep, stress management, all that blah that everyone else knows about. But like, we haven't got anything else really, so we've got to capitalize on those variables as much as we can. So yeah, that's me. I think I'm going to push things a little further, and then I might do some form of like physique update when I hit maximum body weight before I do a little bit of a tidy up, and then I'll just go again. Tidy up and then go again, tidy up and then go again, and go for as long as I can. So Loz, you take the helm. Where are you at?
So in terms of where I'm at right now and where things have been over the past couple of months, my progress in this off season hasn't been so linear over the past few months, and that is quite simply down to the fact that I had a BA at the start of January, which I do believe you spoke about in some of your other videos. So I, as a result of that, took 6 weeks off of training, like 6 full weeks. No training, no cardio. I did like some steps, but that was about it. And that's the first time that I've taken more than a couple days, other than like a planned deload, off of training since I started training. And that was a very interesting experience. It was something that I enjoyed actually, because I was obviously very grateful to be in the position that I was, where I was able to take that time off. It was by no means a reason for me to be complaining about having to take time off, because I chose to do that. But I learned a lot out of taking that time off, just from, I think, having a break from bodybuilding in some ways. And I made a lot of use out of that time in terms of coming into the gym and actually like watching AJ, watching Caitlin train, and not have to be focused on my own sessions. I was just literally sat there observing. And to a lot of people, like I've had a lot of messages from people saying like, that must have been so hard, or like, why did you do that? Like, that was not a challenge for me at all. A big part of why I enjoy bodybuilding is not just about my own process, but I like to watch others like go through their process, see how they approach things, especially people like Caitlin, like AJ, who are a lot more experienced than myself. And I can actually sit there when I'm not focused on my own sets, not focused on my own sessions, and just see how they approach the whole session, see how they approach their sets. And I think that that's really, really helped me as I have come back into training. So now I've been back training like properly, like at actual intensity for like 6-7 weeks, which in the grand scheme of things is like nothing. And it's definitely taking time to like show in my physique again, because my physique looked very, very sad after 6 weeks of not training. Yeah, it looked terrible.
Yeah, she posed, and I just laughed because it was so bad.
So bad.
She knew immediately.
but I didn't look at my physique, and I wasn't really like bothered. And a big thing for me is that my training and like my bodybuilding journey anyway isn't like solely based on my physique. Like I don't really overly focus on my physique, and to be honest, I kind of sometimes forget that it's a physique sport, which I know sounds a bit silly, but because I just focus so much on the training, I'm more bothered about my training than I am about how my physique looks. I think it's cool that it's a sport where we do actually develop physically, and eventually you can diet down and present that, but that's not the sole reason, or that's not my sole focus when it comes to how I view bodybuilding. But it's been cool to come back, come to training. Physique is very slowly coming back to life now. Still not quite there, but the training is definitely now at a level where I've matched my previous strength. I'm now exceeding that, and I think that just continuing to do that over time, it will begin to start to, show more and more in my physique, as it has done. But it's like anything, when you're getting strong, or when you're just starting to train, or when you're hitting new numbers, like you just have to kind of hit them, and you have to hit them over and over and over again. It's not going to show in your physique instantly. Like the first time you pull a massive deadlift, the first time you like do a press that you've never done before, you don't instantly have massive delts, you don't instantly have a really thick back. You've got to keep doing that shit over and over and over again until it starts to represent. And that's what I'm very, very much focused on. And kind of speaking about what AJ has been saying in terms of, it is a long game. For me, I may not step on stage until 2025, 2026.
Yeah, whenever.
I don't know. I don't have a number on it. I'm just very, very focused on doing what I love to do every day, just doing the work. It's not even a case of like, do the work, carry on, you have to do this. Like, I'm just doing what I love to do, and I'm just carrying on with the process. And when I'm like, yeah, cool, I've got enough muscle, I feel strong, I've got the muscle density that I need to come down and present a physique that I'm proud of, and to do a prep where I'll actually enjoy it and not have to worry about, oh, do I have enough muscle or this and that, and then I will step on stage. But for now, there's no set goals, and I'm really like at peace with that. Like, that's not something that really bothers me. I don't need to have any goals, so I'm just kind of cracking on and just enjoying the process.
Yeah, perfect. There's a mic drop there. But yeah, honestly, like, you know, I totally agree in terms of, a lot of people will say, you know, your lifts don't show in your physique. Yeah, no shit, because I've only just done it, you know. Like, let me do it for 10 years, and then all of these presses, these rows, these deadlifts, these squats, they will show, because it's been proven in history. Everyone that's gotten pretty damn strong has well-developed body parts, you know, like, bottom line. So, you know, I think, you know, I love using examples, but a great example of that is Keith. You know, like, he's been doing these crazy things since he was about 16 years old, 17 years old. You know, so now he's getting into his early 20s, and people are wondering, how are you so big? Surely you're not natural. Scroll back on his timeline on his IG, and then you'll realize why he is natural and why he's doing stuff that you've not done. You know, so that's literally the take home there. But anyway, we've got to go deadlift now. Yeah. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little update. We'll do these when we've got stuff to talk about. Enjoy watching us train. See you in a bit. So something I've stopped doing on pretty much all days now is running stim-based pre's. Not that I would use a monster personally, but good choice of flavour though, Alex. But I find that I'm already heavy, and let's be honest, I'm not the fittest. I maintain cardio in the off-season once a week, but it's not enough to keep me super fit. So when I get in here and I'm running up my deadlifts, like warm-ups, and I'm a little bit out of breath, if I've also got a stim pre behind me, it's a nightmare. I actually feel like really anxious off it as well. So I tend to stick to non-stims. I think I've never even mentioned it on the channel, but I am actually sponsored by Insight. So we tried the new Bloodshot from Hostile Subs today. Apparently it's really good. So I'll let you know what I think by the end of the session. But it's apparently a pretty good non-stim. So we will see. Something that you might notice in my warm-ups, bit different to maybe last warm-ups you've seen on deadlifts, because it's been a while, but it's quite harsh hip extension into lockout on my warm-up. Reason being, my lockout is where I usually fail, and I honestly think it's partly down to me not being aggressive enough on my warm-ups with the lockout and getting everything fired, essentially. Plus, I've noticed some of the best pullers do tend to have quite harsh hip extension on their warm-ups. Obviously, it's less exaggerated on their top sets because, well, their top set is heavy as hell. But on their warm-ups, tends to be getting that weight into the lockout pretty damn fast and really trying to wake up everything that's going to allow you to lock out that weight. Pockets. Mama!
Come on. Okay.
Oh, come on!
Let's go. Yes. Lovely. Okay. And again. Yes. All yours. All yours. Oh yeah, lovely.
Ah! Ah! Fuck off! Ah! Oh, 6 plates, motherfucker. 6 fucking plates. It's alright, isn't it? Not too bad though. Not 300 yet.
Plates are fake. They're fake weights.
They're fake weights. I wanted at least one, but as soon as the first one went, I was like, I'm taking a double here.
You're right about the lockout though. What's the floor? Blue.
Yeah.
Blue. Look at that, mate.
Pure elation.
That's fucking sick.
Oh, fuck me. That's good. First time ever doing 6 plates. So, I knew, as soon as I pulled 180, I knew for a fact 260 was going to happen. It was either 260 or I try and do 250 for 4. I got 240 for 3.5 last time. I just knew coming in today, I was like, if these feel good, I'm gonna fucking whack on 6 plates. So I'm fed up of 4s, so I'll do a double. So I don't often do doubles, and the last time I did anything below 4, besides the 4 rep fail last time, was when I was with Keith about a year ago, and I pulled 250, about 5 pounds heavier in body weight, and I got that for 3 reps, but touch and go, no dead stop. So I'm gonna immediately send that to Keith, because Keith is my king deadlift inspiration. Fucking hell, I may as well have a rocket right up Keith's arse in this video, but I love him, so it's fine. It's fine. There you go. Yep, come on. Pull, 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 hips, hips, hips.
So just on a very, very quick note on my deadlift. So firstly, you'll notice that myself and AJ do different hinge patterns. So he does standard conventional. I'm currently running a deficit stiff leg. The reason being for that is that different hinges will work better for different people. For myself, the stiff leg generally works a bit better because I have very long legs, very long arms, so naturally my hip position is very, very high. But especially when we're looking at like a stiff leg anyway, for me, doing like a normal stiff leg is like where an RDL should be because of how long my arms are. So that's why I do a deficit as opposed to doing it in another way. Like you'll see some people will do a stiff leg from a block pull or from blocks because they have shorter arms. So that's just a reasoning why I do that. But just to kind of touch on that set, at the very, very end, you'll see that I left like that rep that I was going to take. And the reason being for that is that although I think it could have been a safe rep, like my lumbar was not rounding, so my lower back was not rounding. Like that's when, if you start to see your lumbar round, like that's when you're maybe going to like compromise something and you might actually really, really injure yourself. But I could feel that if I was going to really pull to try and lock that rep out, I was probably going to injure myself. And I've already taken a 2-rep progression. Maybe if that was like would have been the 1-rep progression that I needed, I would have pushed it a little bit, but I probably would have hurt myself. And that's why a lot of people, when they're trying really, really hard to progress a hinge, session on session, all the time, they start to come into lower back issues, especially if your lower back recovery isn't top notch. Like AJ's got amazing lower back recovery. I don't have the best lower back recovery, so I have to be a little bit more careful with that. So sometimes it's just something you need to take into consideration when you are chasing those progressions. Like, yes, chase them, yes, be aggressive, but you also have to be safe at some points as well. Okay then.
Oh, it's light.
Let's go. Oh, yes. Strong as fuck, come on. Yes! All day, come on, let's dig in. Good, keep that pause, and again, come on. Nice and strong. Oh yeah, there we go. Good. And again then, and again, come on. Yes! Lovely.
It's the first time doing a pause back off in a long time. I've been doing 1 set for a while, so again, just need to work on that lockout. I can tell, like, with doing the back off, I'm just so not used to it that after basically putting everything on the line for that 260 set, that's still a good set. Feels right, but because I'm not used to doing 2, and put absolutely everything into that 2 reps, that was hard. It was really hard. Even like hard to like maintain position, which is the main thing with the deadlift. Can't maintain position, doesn't matter how much power you put into it, probably something's gonna, well, you're either gonna hurt yourself or you're gonna fail a rep. Simple as. There was a time where I only got 200 for a top set for like 9 reps, touch and go. That wasn't that long ago, you know, so. Will the deadlift showing your back development to be continued? If my back doesn't look any different the next time I compete, then you can all stop deadlifting. But I am pretty confident it will, so, you know, proof is in the pudding, so I'll just keep working, and then whatever results come, you can decide whether they're good enough or not to do deadlifts. good, there we go. So a point on his seated hamstring curl. Like if you're filming your seated hamstring curls and you're noticing that your range of motion in the short position, in the contraction, is getting, so you're getting less and less in that range, don't worry about that if your goal is to take the hamstrings to complete fail. Like obviously you're gonna have to be wary as to how many you do, because as soon as you're not getting it fully short, I would count them as partials. And me and Loz have been actually progressing our partials as well as progressing the reps that we're getting fully short. So it's either like we'll take, in this instance, we're not taking a 4th rep because Loz is recovering from a little bit of a bug. But in usual instance, we'll probably take maybe a 4th rep and then a few partials until she can't do any more. And then we count them as partial reps. So don't be worried about that.
Good, okay.
Come on.
Off we go, come on. Good. Yeah, there we go, nice and powerful. Yeah, come on, that's it, stay tight, let's go. Yeah, good. There we go, let's get it short. Oh yeah, lovely, only a little touch there. Oh.
Good. Yeah. Good, 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 good. Yes, nice.
Good. Nice, come on. It's all you, all you. Yeah, there you go, nice.
1.
Okay.
Oh.
Very nice. More, and again, and again. It's all you, all you, all you, all you.
Me.
Okay, now we go. Small foot, small foot, small foot. Good.
So next the dumbbell rows, I'm spending a little bit of time in the stretch position just because I need to stay a bit more, what's the white word? I guess like humble with it, because you definitely get carried away. And I've already got a bent over row where I'm probably getting a bit carried away with loading. So this one needs to stay a little bit more like just training the function of the upper back, which is protraction and retraction, so of the scapula. So get deep into that protracted position, then retract hard. That's simply like really all you need to cue on an upper back movement, alongside just making sure you have probably slight pronation, just going into that position there with your grip. I'm like semi-pronated, and then I'm just thinking about driving my elbow back a little bit out as well, but pretty much just back. So they feel pretty good for me, and I'm able to maintain position in that bottom portion. So, and they're a good challenge. Get strong at these, and you'll have good cross transfer. It's pretty much every one of your pulling movements.
Yeah, good. Yeah, come on.
Hey!
Yeah, come on, AJ. Yes, again, come on. Go. Oh yeah, still there.
In terms of range of motion, it's a good ballpark figure to work with elbow crossing your midline of your torso. So when I'm looking at a video, it's why these jerseys kind of help a little bit, because usually I'll wear stuff like that where I can't actually see my elbow. So I can kind of see my elbow in these, and I just make sure that every rep I'm trying to make sure that my elbow's passing that midline without my shoulder blade being pulled up to my ear, which would be a little bit too much trap and not too much rhomboid. I'm trying to hit more like rhomboids mid back here.
Go. Yes, come on. Oh yeah. Oh, now we go. Small touch, take it now. Good. Yeah, easy, come on, nice and powerful. Yeah, oh yeah.
So just a quick one on this one that I don't think I've covered before is a lot of people will essentially come starting this position and finish in this position. So they'll laterally flex to get your lat short. Now, lateral flexion isn't a problem, but the issue is that you can use lateral flexion as momentum to shift you from A to B, whereas you really just want your lat doing most of the work, as opposed to using your torso momentum and that lateral flexion to get the weight from the stretch position to the short. So instead, induce that lateral flexion already and lock it down. So get yourself into this position, think a little bit about rib cage down, and then just stay here. That position is not only going to be stronger, but it's also going to be a position where you can get your lat fully short already without having to shift into that position from the stretch. So just a little bit of a tweak if you're using this piece, especially this piece. And most overhead pull downs, if you're working single arm, is kind of a good place to be.
Yeah, more. Good, come on. You, lovely. Lovely.
So I've been doing most of my rear delt work on a cable fly, rear delt cable fly from the last couple of months or so. I was doing a lot of reverse pec deck. I realized it was actually one of the main reasons that I was getting pain in my left shoulder. So out comes the reverse pec deck, and in comes the cable fly. I can just be a little bit more flexible with basically where I take the path. Obviously with a cable, like you can pull it into the position you want it. Whereas with reverse pec deck, obviously you can change the seat and things like that, but you're fixed in the position with the pec that wants to move. And even with the prime pieces, I couldn't get it in a place where I didn't feel pain in my left shoulder. So. Two mistakes on rear delt, common. And I'm not saying those are perfect, by the way, either. Like, I don't think anyone trains truly perfectly when they're training as hard as you can. You'll have little breakdowns here and there. But yeah, rear delt. So number one is coming too far back. So you'll find a lot of people will be all the way back here. That's no more rear delts. On a reverse pec deck, you're probably getting a bit of upper back. Here, it's like tricep, like doing a tricep extension at the bottom of the rear delt. So just come until you can get pretty much like a 90-90 angle between your shoulder joint, your elbow joint, and your wrist joint. Mistake number two is thinking back, not out with your elbows. So this is back. What do you think I'm training here? Maybe a little bit of rear delt because I'm aligning it all right, but I'm going to probably be hitting more mid back and rhomboids than I would like. So instead, start in this position, and I just think elbows out. There we go. 2 tips. That's it. More, and again, come on. Yes! And again, come on. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, come on. Good. Again. There we go. Take the partial all the way. All right. Straight in. Come on, take them all the way now. All the way. All the way. Ah, come on. Go. Good. Nice. time up here, spend some time up here. Hold, good. Again, one more. Squeeze up, squeeze it up, squeeze up. Good. Yes, lovely. A quick tidbit on like Loz's exercise selection when you see her training with me. Like Loz wants to compete in women's bodybuilding, so it's exactly the same category. She needs exactly the same amount of muscle as like probably some bodybuilders do in men's open. Like she needs a lot of muscle everywhere. You know, obviously the requirement is kind of different. So the way it sits on her frame will be different to the way it sits on mine, but she still needs muscle in all the same places. So
same criteria, same thing.
It's the same criteria. It's just women's bodybuilding. It's the same poses. So you know, when you see her doing a shrug or see her doing a lot of bicep work, you might think she doesn't need to do that. She does. So there we go.
Yeah, come on. Come on. Again. Nice. Yes. Good, that's it.
It's easily the hardest exercise for abs. So Loz feels a little bit of discomfort on her back, in her back with it, and a lot of people will complain that they feel their hip flexors. So for me, a good cue is like actually touch your abs, feel them turn on, stay braced in the bottom position, and as you lie neutral, pause, and then don't throw yourself up. The goal isn't to throw yourself up for as many reps as possible. Just think, I want to take my abs to failure. That's it. So like you might get 6 reps, still taking your abs to failure, rather than trying to throw yourself out of the bottom position, and then you'll start saying, oh, my hip flexors are on my lower back. But equally, like something that I did wrong when I did this first was like have my bum too far off the pad, and you need that kind of just on the edge of your, like the top of your lower back, just so you're fully supported there, so you're not hanging off the edge. But yeah, give it a shot if you've got a, this is like called like a glute ham drive. If you've got one of these in your gym, try it out. And yeah, it's very difficult. That's it, think lower abs. Good. That's nice. If anyone takes anything from this video, I think it's like don't neglect your core work, because one of the main reasons why you don't want to neglect your core work is there's a muscle, and if you want to look good on stage, you really need a good core. It's massively important in terms of overall aesthetics. But on the gym floor, if you don't have control or awareness of your core, you won't be able to brace. And when you're not able to brace, you're not able to create maximum force. And when you can't create maximum force, you're not going to be lifting the weights you want to lift. So like me being able to deadlift 260, me being able to hack squat 6 plates, is it's not just a representation of like lower body strength, but it's also like core strength. And it's the fact that I haven't neglected my core work for like the best part of 5 years at least. I think maybe I neglected it at the start a little bit, but for about 5 years after every leg day or now pull days, I'll train my abs. So at least 2 or 3 times a week I'll do at least 6 sets for abs without fail. So it's these little things that like, they're not maybe the fun stuff, but you have to do them. You have to do them. Cool. All right, we're wrapped up. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate it. We'll keep bringing the videos along, and yeah, I'll keep you updated with how we're both getting on, our progress, and take you to quite a few of our client shows this year as well. within the whole of the UK natural bodybuilding scene in Europe. So yeah, it'll be a fantastic year to follow. As always, pop in a like, comment, share with a friend, whatever. We appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video. See you in a bit.